When was the last time you wanted to actively make things worse than they naturally are? Silly question. So let me reframe this. When was the last time when your AI chatbot of your choice gave you an answer so ideal, so slick, so generic that you wanted to dehance it, to make it worse? Today we'll talk about how people now are often more and more making things less and less ideal. How people are making things worse and worse and worse. Why do we now spend more time making things worse than we are spending making them? Today we will talk about why today's people and people of the future will spend more time making things worse than actually making things. And I will explain why this is not an awful thing, but something very bright, something very curious. So stay with me and we will explain that. My name is Antos. I'm a filmmaker, visual artist, making art exhibitions, films. I'm showing it across different regions. I make art across various cities on streets. I raise a lot of discussion around it and doing many things both in online and offline world. So naturally, I work a lot with artificial intelligence, and both in my video projects, both in texts, in other forms. And more, when I communicate with people, I notice that people spend a lot more time making things not so ideal, making things more natural, making things not as generic, not as default as what usually AI gives them, especially if they are not like prompt engineers of 100 level. I will not now rant about how bad is AI. I recently made a video essay about what is relation of person, of humans to machines, and it's a very two-sided thing, and I recommend you to watch it to get inspired and to get things moving for you. At the same time, there is such a paradox that now worse means better. I will walk through a couple of media phenomena that I know and that millions of people now know, and they show clearly that now people don't want some ideal stuff. They want something that is more human, more personal, more lively, maybe even less practical than I thought. I am doing various marketing things for a project that is heavily related with AI. And for it, I needed to make quite a lot of texts using AI and do it fast. And at this time, I understood that those texts that are full of those words like versatile, like tailored to, loan punctuation, those ideal bullet points, those emojis and other stuff, humans instantly understand that it is AI. If they instantly understand that it is AI, they think of it as much less valuable, because they understand that, oh, okay, I will just ask this thing to my ChatGPT and it will give me exactly this information, or even better, or adapted to my situation. And it's partly true, though partly not. And what I see in people who deal with AI, that they incorporate this unidealness in their prompts. So when you now work with AI, you say that make heterogeneous paragraphs, keep style not ideal, use those phrases and those idioms, and overall use this structure, and don't use all of that bullet points, use this and not that. When you are writing with AI or making pictures or videos with AI, you are including something that is often called negative prompt. It's something that you don't want, and there you can include all of these generic things that AI does by default, but which is still done by it. When it comes to images, AI images and AI videos are often have this very ideal lighting. They have it's not very rough. You can understand that it's AI image or AI video if you think about the logic of lighting, where the lighting is coming from, where it's going to. Things that AI does, it doesn't understand the logic of things. It rewrites, it repaints, it regenerates what was already done, and it does it in the most default, in the most idealistic way possible. If you think just a bit about logic of it, you will know whether it's AI or not. You will know. I believe this is partly why we now have this resurgence of old-style analog photography, of digicams of 2000s. This is why people are buying phones like iPhone 4 or iPhone 3GS to have it as a camera. Of course, there is this nostalgia factor. Of course, people are doing it because of nostalgia as well. They know that it was cool when they were young, and they want to bring it back. Yes, there is such thing, but what I will say is that these Dehance will become more and more important. I am very bullish on Dehance, so people will be making things actively worse even more. And do you know that, well, in an area where I'm coming from, in industries that I'm coming from, in filmmaking, in making videos, it's often needed to have gear, to have amazing gear, to have amazing cameras, to have great software, to have great lens, and they should be sometimes even clinically good. Well, I was always opposing that. I was always using those old manual lenses. I was always using systems that were not really conventional, like Fujifilm. I was using a lot of old cameras and cameras on old phones and analog technologies. And at the same time, I understand that this, till that moment, does not fit to every branch. Many advertisements, many commercial projects really require this clinical image. But here's the thing, that today, what we see today from ads, what we see today from how brands position themselves, it will come more and more to this lively side. It will come more and more to this more organic and natural way. I'm not saying that, of course, today it's all coming to this organic UGC content of people actually talking and making things about products. But I'm talking not only about that. I'm talking about how companies, creative directors, how decision makers, how screenwriters, how cinematographers will actively make choices that dehance what they are doing. And I think that in 2010s we saw a spike in enhancement of image quality, of this 4K, 8K, etc. I think now we will see balancing out of it. We will see slow dehance. And when I'm talking about balancing it out, I'm also talking about balance between digital technology and all other kinds of technology, because now we think of technology as mostly digital, of course, but technology is so much more. Technology is not only this digital machinery, it's not only what we think of today as technology. I'm doing a system that is based completely on paper. It helps me do stuff. It's not only my notebook, my note-taking system. I don't think of it as note-taking system. I think of it as a system for doing things. I often make decisions with it. I often make creative projects through it, and I make artist projects through it as well. So you see this mural that is behind me. There are two minds: one human mind and then machine mind. You see this mural behind me. There is human mind and there is machine mind. And what I believe will be is that on inside there will be more and more of machine. On outside there will be more and more of human. So even when machine, for example, generates a response, people already go and change it a bit, for it not to be as clinical, for it not to be as ideal. And this is what we will see more and more, not just in social media, not just in articles, not just in TikTok, not just in text or video or image, but everywhere. Again, in marketing strategies, in politics, in overall culture, in society as a whole. I think that 2020s, 2030s will be a period where technologies will be balancing out between each other. And this idea of dehance will become more and more important with time. Another example that I want to mention here is analog horror. Analog horror is a genre that is based not only on nostalgia, but also on how people don't want this ideal Hollywood-style horror with this a lot of screamers, conventions, etc. Millions of people like to go beyond those conventions, like to break them, both creators and viewers. And I'm not a huge fan of horror myself, but when it comes to those non-conventional genres, those experimental genres that are getting more and more attention here online in the last 5 or 3 years, I am also very bullish on them, as I am bullish on almost any project that does this dehance well. What I don't believe in: I don't believe in degrowth. I don't believe that our economy should shrink. I think it should balance itself. I think it should be balanced actively, not with hand of state, a huge protective state, not with hand of only huge multi-million corporations, but with a lot of actors involved, with a lot of stakeholders involved. This is what I believe in, and I think that this will be happening in culture, in business, in all of branches, in all of industries. So don't think of it as just making things in a primitive level, making things as caveman men did. Of course not. It will be in a way where AI, this strange, weird machine with a lot of disadvantages and a lot of advantages, really makes a lot of stuff indeed, but humans are actively making it worse, and humans are making their personal stuff that they are making in a much less ideal way, that they are making in a much more personal way. And this will rule the world, I think. What do you think about this idea? What are your thoughts about all of those topics overall? Let's discuss it. Let's write me a comment now, and I value any opinion that you may have. I try to answer as much comments as I have. I probably will answer any of them. So you are very welcome both here and in this comment section. When it comes to this physical operating system that I made, I now made a demo that shows how it works with my daily tasks, and I recommend you to go to a link that is in description or in pinned comment, and there you may see what is it and how it works and how to apply it to your workflows, to your tasks, to your everyday life in the best way possible. Thank you for being here, and let's develop, let's rethink, let's re-explore things. Thank you. Goodbye.